If you're ambitious but lazy, I have good news and bad news. The bad news is it probably comes from a fundamental, flawed understanding of what productivity is, and correcting that is going to be painful, because it'll go against a lot of what other people have told you, and it'll have some implications that make things more difficult initially. But the good news is, if you can integrate this new perspective on productivity into your life, you'll actually get more done and you'll have the results to show. So what is this belief I'm talking about? It's productivity. What is productivity? It is not these things. It is not doing more of what matters to you. Productivity is not consistently giving our time and attention to the things that are most important. Productivity is not getting important things done consistently, and productivity is not producing things. These all come from direct quotes from books, productivity authors who are very popular these days. Pleasure and productivity are different. What all those other things are is pleasure. When you hear productivity after this video, I want you to think in your head, probably pleasure. And pleasure is a feeling from 0 to 100 based on how good you feel. 100 feels great, 0 feels awful. That's because pleasure and productivity are different. What's real productivity? Real productivity is value. What is value? Well, before the definitions, let me just show you this. This explains exactly what value is. You cannot get any of this without someone else. You can't yourself get a bonus check. You can't create a thank you note out of nowhere. You can't create your own 5-star reviews. You can't give yourself a salary out of nowhere. You can't have a bunch of followers without other people. These are all things that people give you because you've given them something. So it starts with them first, not you first. So remember, productivity or value is determined by others at the time of transaction. So we have before the transaction and after the transaction. So what does value or productivity look like before the transaction? Pre-offer. Pre-offer, it's simple. It's just your authority times the external info you're drawing from. So authority is, I'm a surgeon of 20 years. The external info is, this is how human anatomy and science works. Okay, you multiply those together, that's your potential value. But what we gotta remember is, we gotta multiply it by 0. This is a fundamental belief we have to get away from. All of this stuff you're doing before you're actually offering it to the world does not matter. So what does matter? What matters is what happens after the offer, and specifically the number of people you've impacted and the magnitude of each impact. So we have scale and depth. This is multiply that together and that's your actual value. Simple, right? So, okay, definitions, the equations aside, here's one way to determine yes or no if you were productive or not. Whether it's pre-offer or post-offer, it's this. Will this help anyone once it's done? That cuts through all the BS. Look at your task list, look at your calendar, look at your notes, look at your dreams and your sketches and whatever art you're making, and just ask yourself, will this help anyone once it's done? This implies that you will finish it, that you will package it, and that you will make it accessible to others. And it implies that they might possibly benefit from what you're doing. If the answer is no, it's not productivity, it's pleasure. This picture's everything. You're gonna forget this video and what I'm saying, but I hope you never forget this picture, because this picture was created for us to make this video and for you to watch us, and for it to perfectly explain what productivity and value is. Look at the gathering. There's a gathering of people. They're enjoying time together. To the left of that, there's a man sleeping. He's enjoying a pleasure. That's not good or bad. He's just enjoying pleasure. There are on the perimeter more men working still. They're working overtime. Will their extra work make them more productive or valuable? Maybe. But what if that hay never gets fed to a horse? What if that hay never gets turned into some kind of shelter? What if that hay never gets turned into a seat and no one ever sits on it? What if it just rests there and they're telling themselves that they're this virtuous productivity person because they're out working later than the other people? Are they productive? No. In that case, they're just turning themselves into productivity martyrs, which is their own form of twisted pleasure. But it's not productivity because it's not about helping others, it's about them. However, this person in the middle is us from here on out. This person in the middle was in that group before, and then he overheard someone say, yeah, I'm really thirsty. I wish there was more water here. Then that person took that huge ass hike all the way back to the village to get some water, and then trekked all the way back, and then they're about to make an offer. So up to this point, this person has not been productive. However, they're about to make an offer, and based on how that offer is received will be how valuable they were, how productive they were. Do you see the difference? It's about the reaction of the other people. They decide, not you. So that's a new perspective. Let's talk about what do we do with that? How do we integrate that? How do things look different? They actually look very similar to how you're working now, but then with just a couple twists that make the biggest difference. Right now, I don't care what age of life you are, I don't care how high or how low on the economic totem pole you are. In order to get things done, you have some form of notes, some form of tasks, and some form of events or calendars, some kind of way to track your time. Now, you're going to keep those, obviously. The notes are for what you're thinking, and the primary raw material underneath that is your intention. The tasks are for what you're doing. The raw material underneath that is your focus, because you can only do so many things at once. And then finally, the calendar manages your time. So in this framework where we're understanding as productivity as our usefulness to others, the job of notes changes dramatically. It's not the job when you're note taking to capture all the facts perfectly. It's not the job when you're note taking to create a beautiful note garden or beautiful graph database of notes. No, the job of notes is to make it easier for you to act, specifically for you to take tasks and turn those into offers. So they're supplementing you actually making offers and creating things that could be offerable. So they move you out of your head and into a place of work. We have a couple ways to note take now. You can capture notes, obviously, just get it out of your head and into something. A beautiful note style, one of the heights of intelligence is this kind of synthesizing note. You're taking different domains, you're bringing external info and observations about the world, and then you're using your unique perspective, your life experience to draw connections between them. We have to move to tasks. So we're leading up to the offer now. Remember, pre-offer, 0 value. So we need an offer, and that's basically what tasks are for. Tasks are not to create a huge list and then get the dopamine every time you check it off. No, tasks are so you can create something and give it to people. One of the keys with tasks in this new framework is thinking about motion. It's no longer just do and then work top down and do this stuff and feel good. It's more left to right now. So it's to do, doing, done. You're moving from idea to I should do that, to I'm doing that, to it's done, to I'm sharing it for people. Now, calendars are a lot more simple. The way I like to think about it is you're structuring your day around how you can help people the most. And this is not just maxing out your work block. That's very different than if you plan to do everything perfectly, but then the reality is you start for 10 minutes and then you get distracted. Get real with yourself about how much you need in order to start helping others sustainably. Since I have a technical audience, a lot of you know about programming, and you know that we have a couple different algorithms that we use in every program, like one for sorting data, one for searching data, and one for filtering. So you have a big list and you're filtering by even or odd numbers, for example. A similar idea we can apply here. So this algorithm is just very simple. It's from the head to something else, from your head to a notes app, from your head to the calendar directly, from your head to the email. I recommend having one inbox and just knowing like whenever I have an idea, it just goes here and making it so simple just to get it out of your head. This flow diagram comes from getting things done. That method, I think it's simple, it's nice, it's not too much, but it's not too little. So if you're looking for more workflow around this, you can check it out. But for now, just find a way to get it out of your head and pick one spot and just keep using it. And finally, pruning algorithm. This is your way, since you have some way to capture things into your inbox and you're categorizing it. It kind of feels good to just amass more things, and as life gets more complicated, the temptation will be to just hold on to all that and carry it around, and you will get very heavy in your system and it'll be harder to actually do anything. So I recommend having a pruning system, garbage collection, if you will. I would say every month, doing a monthly look back and just canceling recurring events, deleting things from your calendar, moving notes from the front page to the archive in the back. These are simple things, but they make a big difference actually, because they make space for you to have important tasks that actually matter. Okay, now finally, this is how you turn it into your own thing. This is how it sticks. This is how it changes your life, because you know the basics, you know the philosophy. Now you can customize it to fit how you work, how you think, and if you can do that, you will love it and you will never go back to scrolling down these rabbit holes and chasing other people's strategies and just blindly doing what they say. No, you'll be like, this works for me. This just clicks for my brain. I love this. Also, here's a normal kind of a capturing flow where you're writing out tasks, you're writing out events, notes, and emotions, but you're connecting it to time. So yeah, of course we have the day up top, like it's Wednesday, October 4th, but you can see hour by hour how the emotions are kind of shifting. This can help you learn about yourself and what works for you. All right, so those were algorithms, and that's how to customize it. And this is your app. This is your program. This is like your meta strategy we're talking about now. You can do all of this in a notebook, and I would recommend the bullet journal for having a system around that, because they've solved a lot of the common problems that'll come up. It's a nice filter because you get a filter before it gets into the notebook, then you get a filter out of the notebook. By the way, if you don't like notebooks, you can use this primary routing approach with your notes first. So it could go your head to this notes app, and then to the calendar, and then maybe to the notebook, and then maybe to a different app. I like the hybrid approach a lot. Now, this is where people stop. Maybe they get excited. They watch a video like this and they somehow stick around this long and they get excited. They're like, I can't wait to do this. And then they try it out. And then it's like, okay, I found out some flaws with the system. And they go back on YouTube or social and they find another system. They chase that high, and then it's never really theirs. The way you make it yours is by customizing it and then by tweaking. And you tweak by debugging your life. This is like a natural cause and effect of just tracking this. For productivity and value, it's probably a little more obvious. If you do have an offer, revenue is the thing you want to track. If you don't have an offer, audience, I think, is the best thing to track, whether it's total size or the quality of each member of the audience. Now, we have so many different influences in on us. We have so many people telling us what we should do. It's hard to see whether time was a waste or not before you watch this video, because now you know. So what I recommend is doing really frequent check-ins with your primary metrics and then just tweaking it slightly, really slightly, frequently. That'll get you farther than if you did big overhauls. Now, the goal of all of this, outside of helping others, is to help yourself. A lot of that will come down to what makes you productive. If you find that you just crush it with like a very simple setup and that helps you be more productive and help others, you're gonna want to stick to that. If you know that info, when people start telling you you need to work like this, you need to have this kind of schedule, you'll know that, hey, I hear that, I'm glad that works for you, but this is working for me and I'm gonna stick to it. That clarity is so powerful. So in summary, productivity is not pleasure, productivity is value. Value is determined by others at the time of transaction. The equation for value is number of people times the magnitude of your benefit. You can forget all that and just ask yourself, will this help anyone once I'm done? When you're setting up your systems, just move towards people. That means from your head to some kind of note capturing system, to some kind of task, to some kind of offer, to actually giving it to people, and keep doing that. The specific way to do that is to use your notes to create tasks. Your tasks are used to create an offer, and your events and your calendaring just protects your tasks so that you can create an offer. Capture your thoughts in an inbox algorithm where it's one place, you just know where to go, and you do that constantly. Categorize your thoughts before they get into the inbox, 3 to 5 that make sense for you. Remove some weight from your system regularly, because it's regularly going to expand in complexity, and complexity is not a virtue at all. Track your pleasure in the form of life satisfaction over time. Track your value and your productivity in the form of either revenue or your audience. Make small tweaks often rather than large overhauls, and then this whole time try to get clear on what works for you. From now on, we are this person bringing back water to these people. We're focused on ourselves enough, and then we start focusing on others. Then we just give them what they want. If they don't want something that we worked really hard on, we say, okay, what do you actually want? And then we just never stop. That's how you be productive. If you want to see an example of how to implement this in a more detailed way, this was, of course, design patterns, principles, philosophy, and some examples, but how to really set that up, check out this video over here as a step-by-step guide on how to do that in real life. I'll see you over there.